For the APT News Network, I'm Michaela Lynn. I'm here today with Heather Oswald to discuss women in fitness. Hi, Heather.
Hi, Michaela.
Can you tell me a little bit about how you got started in powerlifting?
It was actually kind of an accident. I started working here at Active Movement and Performance at AM as a sports massage therapist, and I had done some weightlifting on my own, nothing to brag about. And when I started working out here, the powerlifters were watching me work out and noticed I was a little strong and they could fix what I was missing.
Yeah.
So they asked if they could program for me and train with me, and I said that'd be great, sure. And a couple weeks into it, after fixing a few things, they kind of forced me into a powerlifting meet and signed me up for one and said, well, now you're powerlifting. And I couldn't really say no. So that was about a year and a half ago.
A year and a half?
Yeah.
How many competitions have you competed in since then?
I have no idea. I'm going to say probably about 6 or 7.
Wow.
Yeah, probably about 6 or 7 competitions.
And you said you came to AMP and were lifting weights. Were you actively lifting weights? Was it a regular part of your life, or was it something that you just started doing?
I noticed that I wasn't really good with agility type sports, and I liked being strong. I was always strong as a kid. So I would do some deadlifts, some goblet squats, nothing too crazy, but it still felt good to feel strong. And to my knowledge, that was all I knew, so that's all I did.
Now, you mentioned when you were a child, were you active in sports as a child?
I actually was not. I was a bit of a tomboy. I loved biking and running around and getting dirty, climbing trees, all that kind of fun outdoor stuff, but at no point did I join any sports teams or anything like that. My mom really didn't encourage that for her daughters, so I stayed away from that.
Can you tell me a little bit about your training regimen here, how nutrition plays into that? What does the program look like as a whole, and maybe a day-to-day?
Well, for any kind of meet prep, we usually like to give myself around 3 to 4 months to build up some volume work and build up some strength. Sometimes I get a little antsy and I'll jump from peaking cycle to peaking cycle, so it'll be like a month and then I'll do another meet. But if I'm going to go in for a good solid meet, it's about 3 to 4 months of training, starting off with some volume work, and then as we go into the meet, as it comes closer, tapering off of the volume and going a little higher in the weights, a little less in the reps. Finally, we get into about a deload where we calm down with some of the stuff. We just do some hypertrophy work, and then we take our deload week, no caffeine, so we can go into the day of with a calm CNS and a rested body and blow it away the day of. As far as nutrition, especially when starting off my training, it's got to be key. You're an athlete. Even though you're just picking up weights, you're still an athlete, so you have to eat like an athlete. Fuel yourself. I don't eat any sugars, try to cut out any kind of dairy, anything that's going to hold me down or make me feel bloated. I eat a lot of protein, a lot of vegetables, and a lot of healthy fats. So it can be kind of burdensome going through meal prep and doing all of that, but it's worth it when you see the results in the gym, when you see your numbers going up because you're getting stronger. As far as day-to-day, I usually start out with a squat day, and then we have a bench day and a deadlift day, and we'll have anywhere from 3 squats in the week to 3 benches, maybe 1 or 2 deadlifts. So it's a lot of frequency work, but it's to adapt your body to the large weights that you're going to lift the day of the meet.
So how many days a week are you training?
I train 4 days a week. I train 4 days a week with 3 rest days.
And you mentioned a lot of the nutritional aspects. Is this something you came to, or do you have a nutrition coach working with you as well?
I started off powerlifting. My numbers weren't as impressive as I wanted them to be, and my coach even said that they could get better. And if anybody's seen online that it fits your macros, and so I was like, great, you can eat cheeseburgers and donuts all day, and you're going to get strong. But that's not their whole diet. They key in for that specific purpose. If you look at everything else they're eating, well, they're eating lean meats, they're eating lots of vegetables, they're feeding and fueling their body, and that's just a little treat that they've allotted themselves. So I did see a nutritional coach about it, and we tapered everything down, and the results I'm seeing in the gym are just amazing.
Heather, do you have any role models now, or did you as a child that you really looked to that helped you get where you are?
Not really as a child. I wasn't really into sports, and even celebrities I didn't really look to as role models. The one thing that I love about powerlifting is there are some great lifters out there, and they've made a career out of it, and they're amazing to watch. But as far as role models, they're on a different level from you. I mean, it's great to look up to them, but you have to be your own role model. You have to look inside yourself and find the strength for you to push on. It's not, I'm going to be like them one day. Well, you may not be like them. Everyone's strength potential is different. You may not be what they are. You don't have their circumstances. You don't have their genetics. It may not be that way. So you have to look at yourself. You were born with what you have. What are you going to do with it? Look inside yourself as a role model to push you further and say, well, this is where I was. Look at me now. And where am I going to be?
I would like to get that on a t-shirt. Can you tell me about your most recent competition?
My most recent powerlifting competition was USAPL Raw Nationals, which was an honor to be able to lift there. It was a 5-day event, I believe, with over 1,000 lifters, the largest event that's been in USAPL history, and I'm pretty sure powerlifting history. It's just exploded raw lifting, and it was an amazing, amazing day. I trained really hard to be there. Squatting in sleeves is not something I expected myself to do. I started out in wraps, which was painful, but you saw great results, and I had to change up my whole way of lifting to lift with USAPL, and it's reaped a lot of benefits for me. It was intimidating sharing the stage with world record holders and people who lift at worlds, so it was amazing to see them lift, but at the same time I had to focus on myself, and I hit great PRs the day of, and I was very proud of what I did.
And what have you been doing since?
Last week, the week after Raw Nationals, I did a Strongman competition. So that's fun. Powerlifting's opened up a bunch of doors for me, and the Strongman competition was hard, but it was great to see the strength I've built just from the dedication to my training every day.
So did you do any specific training for the Strongman competition?
No, I kind of just piggybacked off my training for USAPL Raw Nationals. When it comes to Strongman, it's about testing the raw strength that you have in awkward loads. So it was interesting that I knew my numbers, I knew where my maxes were, but then going out and deadlifting a car, you're not exactly sure the leverages and how much that car weighs, and you're like, well, I just better do it. And so it was definitely interesting and a learning experience, and a lot of fun to be able to harness that power into something other than powerlifting.
And aside from powerlifting and Strongman now, have you ever competed in any other sports?
No, I was never in any organized sports, and this was powerlifting. That was my first competition that I ever did. I never really pushed myself my entire life, so it was definitely a change for me.
Do you remember your first powerlifting competition?
It was terrifying. It was actually in South Jersey, and I had to wake up at 3 in the morning to drive there with the whole powerlifting team, which was mainly, well, actually it was all boys, so I was home by myself, and they were very supportive but also very hard on me. And I remember after getting the first squat out of the way, I turned to my coach and I said, "This is so much fun," and he knew I was hooked. So I had a ball at my first powerlifting meet, because you're hitting PRs no matter what. You've never done a meet before.
Yeah.
But it was so much fun, and I was hooked after that first squat.
How has powerlifting changed your outlook?
I mean, I've gained so much more confidence from powerlifting. You'd think it's funny that picking up a barbell is going to make you feel better about yourself or make you feel more accomplished or give you goals, but it does. It is changing. It could be a pound, it could be 5 pounds. Once you get that, it's something you've never done before, and it's this exhilarating feeling, and so you have all this confidence and this strength mentally and physically. So when you leave the gym, you still have that about you, and it makes you into this whole brighter person that you can just take on the world.
Considering everything you know now, if you could have a conversation with yourself at, let's say, 12 years old, what would you tell her?
I would tell her to start lifting as soon as possible. Get in a gym, start picking up the weights, start everything sooner. Lifting, start nutrition earlier. Growing up in school, in health and gym class, they teach you how to play games. They teach you about sex ed and that 1,500 calories a day is all you need to lose weight, and it's so not true. You need to go out there and learn for yourself. You need to experience it, and especially at 12, if I had started fueling my body better at 12 instead of just eating snacks after school, and if I had gone into the gym and given myself some kind of purpose, I think growing up through those awkward years of school, I would have had more confidence. I would have dealt better with problems, and I would definitely be a lot further in my powerlifting career than I am now.
Now, still having this conversation with your 12-year-old self and taking into consideration the popular trends in the fitness industry today with Thinspiration and Fitspiration memes, and the role of women in general in the field of fitness, what kind of conversation would you have with your 12-year-old self?
I would tell her to ignore it. Ignore it, throw it out, don't look at it, you don't need it. It's just going to give you the wrong thoughts in your head. Every time you look at someone else and you say, wow, she's so skinny. Yeah, but she's weak. Oh, well, she looks so great. Well, not in real life. These things aren't what you need to be attaining for. Set your own goals. Everyone in the world is different. What are your goals? They don't have to be her goals or to fit into a size 2 bikini. If you want to lift weights, go lift weights. It doesn't matter that you're a girl. If you have these goals, go after them. Don't pay attention to what social media or to what society says a girl should be, or society says what you should fit into. It doesn't fit for you. It's not going to fit for every single person, and they're all lies 90% of the time. It's marketing schemes, so don't fall for it. Go out and be your own person.
Amen and amen. Heather, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. For the APT News Network, this is Michaela Lynn signing off.